Tēnā koutou katoa. No Scotland o ka tupuna, no Aotearoa aho, I whānau mai I India, I tipu ake au Punjab e Uttar Pradesh, kei Wellington aho e noho ana, ko Survidal toku ingoa. So I'm the manager of long-term conditions at the Ministry of Health and am your MC for the next 2 days. So haere mai, haere mai. Hohepa, thank you for your wonderful opening and for creating the space for this really important kōrero over the next 2 days about what we can collectively do about long-term conditions in New Zealand. I'd also like to awhi Janine Bycroft, Susan Reid, Carla White, Pat Flanagan, and Charmaine for organising this event, and Megan Grant and Rebecca Burlips and our whole team for their support, and the Waiata group for supporting us this morning. So it's my pleasure now to introduce you to Deborah Woodley, the Deputy Director General of Population Health and Prevention at the Ministry of Health. Deborah joined the ministry in 1996 and has a wealth of experience and achievements to her credit, including establishing the New Zealand Blood Service and Healthline. She's had an incredibly busy year this last year at the Ministry of Health in her current role, and has supported responses to the Christchurch massacre, which is quite current, and you know, we think of everybody involved and who have been touched by that event. The measles epidemic, Whakaari, White Island, and more recently, coronavirus. But we all appreciate Deborah's ability to listen well when it really counts, and her ready smile, and the way that she sets an incredible example for us at the ministry in making time each day to spend time with her teenagers. And I think in a long-term conditions setting, that's a really great thing for us to aspire to, all of us. So Deborah, welcome.
Bulavanaka, whakalahi lahu atu, whakatalofa atu, ki o ana, malo alele, malo ni, talofa lafa, tēnā koutou, and good morning. It is wonderful to see all of you here at this Long-Term Conditions Forum, and I would just like to reiterate a very warm Ministry of Health welcome to all of you. It's great to see you all here. As Sue mentioned, I've been in my role at the Ministry of Health for a very long time, or been at the Ministry for a very long time, but actually in this role only for 1 year, having just recently celebrated my first year anniversary as Deputy Director General of Population Health and Prevention. So my directorate includes teams that focus on public health, preventing ill health and achieving equity across some of our population groups such as children and young people and our Pacifica communities. We also have teams focused on addressing risk factors affecting the population and achieving health equity outcomes, particularly for issues such as long-term conditions. And until last week, as Sue might have mentioned, coronavirus was actually forefront of my mind and my time, and it was led out of my directorate. So I am actually in a very good position to make the observation that it's very easy to only focus on the urgent issues facing our population and our health system, like coronavirus, and let other important issues, such as services related to the prevention, identification and management of long-term conditions, particularly for our priority populations, lose momentum. In my view, it's critical that we keep a balance. Why do I think that long-term conditions are important? Well, as we all know, conditions such as cardiovascular disease, diabetes, cancers, respiratory diseases, mental health, chronic pain, chronic kidney disease, dementia, and so on, are responsible for 88% of health loss in New Zealand, and 38% of this loss is preventable. So how do we keep a focus on the important areas of preventing and managing long-term conditions, whilst at the same time dealing with our urgent emerging health issues? I believe our health system must respond by better enabling better by enabling people to take control of their own health. Some of the ways we can provide more support for people to take charge of their health are changing our environments, our schools, our workplaces, our neighbourhoods, so that we can better support people to make healthy choices related to food, activity, being smoke-free, and having moderate alcohol consumption. Encouraging our workforce and our health services to enable better health literacy and self-management for people with long-term conditions, particularly for people in communities with the highest disease burden. Encouraging people to take control of their health and wellness. Sharing knowledge across the health sector about evidence-based innovative services and programs such as group visits, health coaching and care planning. And keeping our sector up to speed with the latest evidence about what works and how it is done. And that's such an important task and one that this forum can contribute to. Just finding the right order of my notes here. Prior to me taking up this role, I spent 2 years out at the wonderful Hutt Valley DHB. Great to see you here. We use patient stories as a way to always ensure that people and their families were at the centre and the heart of our work. And I've started to now talk to my team at the Ministry about ensuring that we have that people-centric role and that we can use patient stories as a tool in some of our work. Unfortunately, such is the prevalence of long-term conditions that we ourselves, or maybe people that are very close to us, have many patient stories that we could use in our work. But when you use patient stories as a tool, it's quite important to be a bit dispassionate so you can step back and learn from those. So I'd like to finish off today with a story about someone called Eric, who's a long-distance truck driver. And it's about someone who's taken charge of his own health. Eric was having significant issues managing his long-term conditions. He had diabetes, gout, and his health was spiralling out of control. Eric had a long-term conditions planning session with his GP. And as a consequence of that, he decided that his health actually needed to be his top priority. So in order to get on top of his health issues, he thought he had to make a choice. He thought his choice was about leaving his job so that he could focus on his health. But the next time he went along to his GP, Eric had been to see his boss. Eric explained to his boss that he needed to resign because of his health. But in talking to his boss, the boss found him another job within the company that did not have irregular shifts. Eric had not thought that was even a possibility. For me, the story demonstrates the power of constructive clinician-patient relationships built on a foundation of continuity of care. It's about involving others in your healthcare, such as your workplace. It's about providing people the opportunity, information and confidence to plan and manage their own health and care. And it can show that when we open the door to new opportunities and options, good health can flow. These opportunities can support decisions that improve better health outcomes, not just for the individual, but the wider population. I wish you well with your discussions and your mahi over the next few days, but it is now my great pleasure to introduce Associate Minister Honourable Pene Hanare. Now, I just need to say at the beginning of this talk, I talked about the urgent and the important. One of the portfolios that Minister Hanare has is emergency management, but I think when he comes here, he'll probably say that the work of this forum is not only important, but also urgent. So I welcome the Minister.